1:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Niranjan Abesundara. Head of State reiterates that Sri Lanka must keep pace with the transformative changes taking place globally. COVID-19 recovery is on the rise. The public in high-risk areas will be vaccinated on a priority basis to curtail the spread of the coronavirus. Health Service Director General expresses concern over the lack of public cooperation to bring the pandemic under control. A 16-hour water cut for parts of the Colombo district tomorrow. Mass Media Ministry requests priority for journalists in the vaccination program. In world news, the US ready for talks with Iran to revive the nuclear deal. Sports news, Commanders Cup Rugby 7 tournament will take place next month. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has reiterated that Sri Lanka must keep pace with the transformative changes taking place globally. Head of State stated that we cannot afford to lag behind and the higher education system must adapt swiftly. The President stressed the education system has to offer students an education that will remain relevant despite the fast-changing circumstances and help them find gainful employment in future. The President identified that present universities and higher education institutions need considerable improvement in this field. 514 individuals tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, increasing the number of infections in the country to 78,420. Among yesterday's cases were 13 overseas arrivals. 647 individuals recovered from COVID-19 and were discharged during the past 24 hours, raising recoveries to 71,823. Accordingly, 6,107 individuals are currently being treated for COVID-19 at facilities across the country, while 685 persons are under medical observation on suspicions of having contracted the virus. Sri Lanka has experienced 430 fatalities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, 15,024 PCR tests were conducted in the country yesterday to identify COVID-19 cases. Health Promotion Bureau said 1,061,491 individuals have been tested for coronavirus thus far since February 2020. Health Service Director General Dr. Asila Gunawardena, who expressed concern over the lack of public cooperation to bring the pandemic under control, said it is left to the people to decide whether to reduce events to the barest minimum to pave the way for the reopening of schools and universities. Addressing a ceremony to hand over the 2 PCR machine to the Cultural Health Institute, he said the spread of the disease has prevented the reopening of schools in the western provinces yet. He pointed out that clusters of patients had originated from wedding receptions, parties and funerals, where the participants were at risk of contracting the disease. Dr. Gunawardena requests the public to strictly adhere to the health guidelines without blaming the health authorities for the spread of the disease. Water supply for several urban and municipal council areas in the Colombo district will be suspended for 16 hours tomorrow due to essential maintenance work. The National Water Supply Area Board said the water cut will be in effect from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. Accordingly, Colombo, Devilla, Mount Lavinia, Sri Javadanapura, Kotli and Kadula municipal council areas and Maharagama, Borlasgamua and Colonabo urban council areas will be affected by the 16-hour water cut. In addition, water supply for the Kotikavat, Mullaria, Rajasabha area will also be interrupted tomorrow. Meanwhile, the NWSDB has decided to suspend the water supply for several areas in the Kalutara district for 10.5 hours from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday. Thereby, Wadua, Potapitiya, Kalutara North, Kalutara South, Katakurunda, Nagola, Bentata, Bombovala, Pilimenawatha, Payagala, Magwana, Beruvala, Alutgama, Dargatown, Kaluamodara and Moragal areas will be affected by the water cut. The Secretary of the Ministry of Media requested Secretary of the Ministry of Health in writing to prioritize journalists in the COVID-19 vaccination drive, having identified the nature of their duties. Media Ministry Secretary Jagat P. Vijayvera said journalists engage with officials in the public and travel to various parts of the country and are considered a frontline group contributing to the dissemination of information. Meanwhile, a request has been made to the Health Ministry to vaccinate staff at post offices, engage in distribution activities and with the public. A discussion is due to take place between President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and leaders of political parties representing the government. The talks will get underway at 4 p.m. at the Presidential Secretariat. The leader of the National Freedom Front, Minister Vimal Veeravangsa, leader of the Puturu Hello Romaya, Minister Udyagamampilla, and several other government-affiliated political party leaders will attend the discussion. The proposed new constitution, upcoming United Nations Human Rights Council session, and the present political climate of the country is suspected to be discussed at this meeting. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
The police say the highest number of fatalities as a result of road accidents were reported yesterday. Deputy Inspector General of Police Aditya Rohan has said 15 individuals succumbed to injuries sustained in road accidents. 8 motorists, 6 pedestrians and 3 wheel drivers were among the deceased. The DIG urged motorists to exercise extreme caution when driving and to strictly adhere to safety guidelines and motor traffic regulations. DIG Aditya Rohan added that attention is being directed to reintroduce a demerit point system in order to minimize the number of road accidents caused by reckless driving. He said demerit system will result in the suspension or termination of driving licenses. The Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, which conducts Ratana Sutra chanting program in Buddhist temples island-wide, has made arrangements to conduct the program today at the Ratnapura Madampe Sri Sunandarama Viharaya. It's the 115th program of the series. Ratana Sutra chanting program will be aired live from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. through City FM single service, commercial service and all regional services of SLBC. That was local news.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
The Army Commander General Chavandra Silva said the public in high-risk areas are to be vaccinated on a priority basis to control the spread of the coronavirus. As a result, General Chavandra Silva said President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has given instructions to target COVID hospitals in the vaccination process. He further said cities, villages, or Grama Sevaka divisions where the virus is spreading the most will be identified and the vulnerable groups in those areas will be vaccinated. Health authorities this week commenced the administration of COVID-19 vaccines on the public identified as vulnerable groups in the Western Province. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
On to Watchlight, Department of Examinations announced the re-correction results of the 2019 Odd Level Examination have been released and can be accessed via www.doenets.lk. Department of Examinations said 57,095 students had applied for the O-Level re-correction results. That came to in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The US ready for talks with Iran to revive the nuclear deal. UK and Canada impose sanctions on Myanmar military. US rejoined Paris Climate Agreement. The United States has expressed a willingness to talk with Iran regarding the U.S. return to the 2015 deal that restricts Iran's nuclear activities. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken discussed the Iranian issue with French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, Britain's Dominic Raab and Germany's Heiko Maas during a virtual meeting yesterday. Britain, France and Germany are parties to the nuclear agreement. The joint statement said they shared concerns of Iran's recent action to produce uranium enriched up to 20% purity, significantly breaching the 2015 deal. Britain and Canada have announced sanctions on Myanmar's military leaders for their roles in the coup, following those imposed on the United States. British government said it was imposing travel bans and asset freezes on 3 Myanmar military officials. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said Britain, alongside its international allies, would pursue justice for the people of Myanmar. Canada has also announced that it was imposing similar action and sanctions on 9 military officials, including Min Aung Hlaing. China has for the first time revealed that 4 of its old soldiers died during a Himalayan border clash with Indian troops in June last year. Chinese state media stated that Merit died after fighting foreign troops who crossed into the Chinese border. The skirmish had taken place in the Galwan Valley in India's Ladakh region, and soldiers reportedly fought with stones and nail-studded clubs. It is the first deadly clash in the disputed border area in 45 years. And back to the headlines of the world news. US ready for talks with Iran to revive the nuclear deal. UK and Canada impose sanctions on Myanmar military. US rejoins Paris Climate Agreement. That was world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development news. 2,000 million rupees has been allocated in the budget 2021 to assist industrialists in traditional industries to expand their product range and to facilitate access to the specific commodity markets. The rattan, brass, pottery, furniture and rural industries promotion ministry has designed a program to be implemented during 2021-2025. The Cabinet approved the proposal by Industry Ministry, which includes raw material cultivation program to set up a national raw materials bank, a program to create one entrepreneur from one village, and to set up wood products and a design centre. On to sports news, rugby news. The Commanders Cup Rugby Sevens tournament scheduled to be worked off in 2 legs on March 20th, 21st, 26th, 27th at the Air Force Grounds in North Malana, which will be sponsored by Dialogue. The tournament is being conducted by Sri Lanka Air Force to mark the 70th anniversary with the blessings of Sri Lanka Rugby and the Sports Ministry. Cricket news. Chennai Super Kings have bought England all-rounder Moeen Ali for £7,000 at the Indian Premier League auction. South Africa's Chris Morris is this year's most expensive player, costing Radisson Royals £1.6 million for the 2020 tournament. Furthermore, Bangladesh Cricket Board has granted Shaib Al Hassan leave during the next month's Test series against Sri Lanka so he can take part in the IPL tournament. Shakib was picked up by Kolkata Knight Riders for 3.2 Indian crore in the 2021 auction yesterday. Meanwhile, for the first time in history of the Indian Premier League, no Sri Lankan cricketers will feature in the tournament, which is expected to be held in India from April till the first week of June. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Heritage Sri Lanka mobile and web app designed by Information Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Department of Archaeology and Minister Buddhasasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs to provide accurate information on heritage sites in Sri Lanka was launched recently. This app benefits both local and foreign tourists as well as students, researchers and local businesses as it makes finding accurate information on heritage sites in Sri Lanka much easier. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of
Business deals now easy. It just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and no benefits.
Energy Minister Udiaga Mampila said the Trincomalee oil tank farm will be managed under a company to be formed with the Lanka Indian Oil Company with majority stake for the Petroleum Corporation. He said there are 99 tanks they used during World War II with a capacity to store 10,000 tons of food in each. The minister said talks are in progress with India on the timeline for the management of the tank farm and the number of tanks to be kept under the sole purview of the CPC. The minister said the cabinet paper would be submitted only after a broad consultation process with the trade unions and other stakeholders. That was economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why? I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And on to the weather. The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the eastern, northern, north central and over provinces. Met Department also forecast showers and thundershowers at a few places in the Sabragamo, central and southern provinces during the evening or night. Sea areas. So far, sure thundershowers occur at several places in the sea area extending from Kankasantura to Batikalo via Trincomalee. And back to the headlines of the news. Head of State reiterates Sri Lanka must keep pace with the transformative changes taking place globally. COVID-19 recovery is on the rise. The public in high-risk areas will be vaccinated on a priority basis to curtail the spread of the coronavirus. Health Service Director General expresses concern with the lack of public cooperation to bring the pandemic under control. A 16-hour water cut for parts of the Colombo district tomorrow. Mass Media Ministry requests priority for journalists in the vaccination program. In world news, the US ready for talks with Iran to revive the nuclear deal. Sports news, the Commanders Cup Rugby 7 tournament takes place next month.